In this video, I'm going to discuss the most important 15 predictive PMP questions. Why I'm saying these questions are very important? Because we as a mentors team have done some research and we have handpicked these questions. What type of research? We have discussed with some of our students who have passed the PMP exam. We understood the current trend of the PMP exam and then we framed these questions. Trust me, when you are practicing these questions, you will have a very good revision on the predictive topics that are very important for the actual PMP exam. So let's not waste any time. Let's get right into it. Hey guys, my name is Gautham Sudakar. I'm working as head of training department with EduHubSpot. So before I start explaining these 15 PMP questions, I would like to place a very humble request. I want you to try these 15 questions as a test. What do I mean by that? How I will be approaching those questions are, I will be just showing a question and then I will be attempting that question and then I will be revealing the right choices. How I want you to do is, if I show a question, pause this video and after that you try that question and then select an answer and then watch my explanation and then it will let you know that whether you have picked the right choice or the wrong one. With this approach, after you complete 15 questions, you can evaluate yourself how many questions you did it right and how many questions you did it wrong. So now let's get started with question number 1. A new government regulation may be finalized and announced in the next 4 months that will affect the business product line of a product organization. The next product will be developed and launched in 2 months from now, which doesn't meet the requirements of the expected government regulation. As a project manager, how should you respond? What I understood from this particular question is a new government regulation may be finalized in the next 4 months. And this will directly affect the product line of my organization that I'm going to work. May be finalized. So this is nothing but a risk. I found a risk in my project. So what was asked in the question, as a project manager, how will I respond to this risk? Let me read the options now. Option A, update the issue log and solve the problem. As I stated, what I found, it's a risk. It's not an issue. I don't want to update the issue log. Option A, it's not a good choice for me. Let me read option B. Update the risk register and work with the team to come up with an apt risk response. This is an excellent choice. I have found a risk. Whenever I'm finding a risk, the first step should be updating that risk in the risk register and you have to come up with the right risk response. Considering option B, I'm eliminating option A. Let me read option C. Escalate the issue to the project sponsor. I don't want to read this option further. Escalation, it's shying away from your responsibilities. Strict no. Option C is gone. For me, still B is best. Let me read the last option, which is D. Work with the team to resolve the issue and update the lessons learned register. Again, what I found in the question, it's a risk, not an issue. For the same reason why I eliminated option A, I'm eliminating D as well. For this question, my pick would be option B. Okay, now let's move on to question number 2. In a customer meeting, one of the very important stakeholders asked to change one of the requirements. The steering committee member present in the meeting came to you and asked where can he see the authorized person to provide the approval for the request raised. As a project manager, which document would you ask the member to refer? This is a little big question, but what was asked in the question is very simple. This is a classic example. Whenever you are reading a PMP question while you're doing your mock test or actual PMP exam, you should build a capability to eliminate the garbage statement. So this question has a lot of garbage statement, but that's okay. This comes by practice. So what was asked in the question is very simple. What was asked is, a change is coming. The steering committee member wants to see who are the people has the authority to approve or reject the change request. So what was asked in the question, which document you will show it to the steering committee member so that that person can get to know who has the authority to approve or reject the changes. Let me read the options now. Option A, ask the steering committee member to refer to the PMIS, which is Project Management Information System, where the complete information of the project is documented. Looks like a good choice. When we are referring to PMIS, definitely we'll get to know who has authority to approve or reject the changes. Let me read B. Ask the member to refer to the RACI chart to get an understanding of the authorized roles to provide the approval. RACI chart, with that you can't find, who has an authority to approve or reject the change. It is more for team members where you can assign responsibilities of the activities to the team members. So option B, it's not a good choice for me. For me, still A stands best. I'm eliminating option B. Let me read option C. Request the member to convince the stakeholder not to raise such a request during the project execution stage, as the request is going to hinder the project budget. See, option C, it's completely irrelevant. What was asked in the question is very simple. So you should know who has an authority to approve or reject the changes. Option C, it's entirely talking something different. C is gone. Let me read the last option, which is D. Ask the member to refer to the change management plan to check the CCB board members who are authorized to approve or reject any change request. This is an excellent choice. If you are referring to the change management plan, you would have already mentioned who are the person who has authority to approve or reject the changes. So this document, which is change management plan, you have to show it to steering committee members. Considering option D, I am eliminating the rest of the options. For this question, my pick would be option D. So here comes question number 3. An automotive manufacturing organization has recently acquired a company. As a part of the takeover process, the governing committee of the organization decided to merge all the similar projects being run on both sides. To accomplish this, they developed a task force team. How can the task force team ensure knowledge continuity across all projects? So what I understood from this particular question is, an automotive manufacturing company has recently acquired a company and another company. As a part of the takeover process, this company decided, let's merge all the similar projects being run on both the sides in this automotive company and also the company that is going to get merged. For merging this, they have formed a task force team. Now, carefully read what was asked in the question. What was asked in the question is, how can the task force team can make sure that knowledge sharing is happening across all the projects? Let me read the options. Allow the task force to define the process and procedures to allow knowledge continuity and also to monitor the process with random audits. Okay, this looks like a good choice. The task force team is coming up with some process and procedures that allows knowledge continuity across projects. A, it's a very good choice. I'm not denying that. Let me read option B. Task force to ask the projects to continue the way they were working and to provide the progress report together. See, what was asked in the question? How you will make sure knowledge transfer is happening between projects. Now read option B. By doing option B, by providing progress report, are you doing this knowledge continuity? So, and also B is written like you are just continuing to work how the way before. So then why the task force team is formed? B, it's not a good choice for me. Let me read option C. Task force to identify and bring in representatives from both sides to define the new ways of working with consensus to continue the knowledge continuity. C is also a good choice for me. You are bringing in representative from both the sides of the projects and you are coming up with the process for knowledge continuity. So this is something you are doing with collaboration. For me, A and C both looks good. Let me read the last option, which is D. Task force to analyze the lessons learned repository of both sides and define the procedures for knowledge continuity in OPA. This is an excellent choice because task force is analyzing the lessons learned repository. Lessons learned repository will have the knowledge which is documented for all the projects. Along with that, they are defining the procedures of knowledge continuity and they are documenting in OPA. When they are documenting the process in OPA, automatically all the projects the company is handling, they will follow. Option D is better than A and C. Considering option D, I'm eliminating A and C because by doing D, I'm kind of sticking to the process. For this question, my pick would be option D. Okay, let's move on to question number 4. You are a project manager of a construction project for building a huge residential complex. The flooring work is outsourced to a vendor. The vendor has escalated in the steering committee meeting that even after sending the invoices, their payments are delayed. As a project manager, how can you respond to this claim? So what I understood from this question, simple. Vendor has produced you the invoices and they are claiming that even after I submitted the invoice, your payment are delayed. So that's a problem we have in the question. What was asked, considering this scenario as a project manager, what you will do? Let me read the options now. Option A, ask the finance team why they are not releasing the payment even after receiving the invoice from the vendor every week. Okay. Looks like a good choice. You can ask to the finance team and you can check why you are not releasing the payment. You may get some answer. But let me read option B. Reject the claim and inform the vendor the payment is released by the finance department and you cannot do anything about it. No, you can't reject the claim. When a vendor is making a claim, you have to act on it. So option B, it's not a good choice for me. For me, still A stands best. B is gone. Let me read option C. Refer to the contract and respond accordingly. This is an excellent choice. Just because a vendor is releasing the invoice or just because they are asking you to release the payment, don't act on it. Don't release or don't say I'm not going to release. Refer to the contract, understand the payment terms and condition. In the contract, if it is mentioned you have to release the payment, release. If not, don't release. Option C, it's an excellent choice for me. Considering option C, I'm eliminating option A. I think I got a best choice, but let me read option B. Issue a cease and desist letter against the vendor for the false acquisition. See, nowhere in the question it is stated vendor is making a false claim. So option D is completely gone. For this question, my pick would be option C. Okay, let's read question number 5 now. You are a project manager in the manufacturing industry. The PMO team wants to see how you are managing the project artifacts. Which document will you provide the auditor? Okay. What was asked in the question is very simple. A PMO team wants to know how you are managing the project artifacts. Which document you will show? All how. What is the keyword for how? Plans. So this means I have to show some plans. Let me read what are all the plans I have in option. Change management plan, artifact management plan. There is nothing called artifact management plan. I am eliminating option B. PMIS, project management information system. When you're seeing a word how in a question, you should only select plan. So option C is also I am eliminating. PMIS is not a plan. Option D, configuration management plan. Okay, now I have to select between A and D. For this question, my pick would be option D, which is configuration management plan. Change management plan will have how to handle change, which is change control process that your project is going to follow. But what was asked in the question, how you're going to manage your project artifacts, which is nothing but you have to show your configuration management process. By doing that only, you will be managing your project artifacts. The configuration management process that your project needs to follow will be in configuration management plan. So for this question, my pick would be option D. A is also gone. Okay, we completed discussing 5 questions. Still 10 more questions are there. I hope you guys are enjoying. So let's continue with the same momentum. Let's start with question 6. You are a project manager in a hybrid project. The project is planned for 18 months and you are in the 15th month of the project. The sponsor comes to you worried as the status report he received from you states that project CPI is 0.68 and he wants to know how much money we need to complete the remaining 3 months. Which metrics you will provide to the sponsor? Okay, sponsor is receiving a status report from you. In the status report, you have mentioned your project CPI is 0.68. This means CPI is lesser than 1. This means your project is over budget. And your project is 18-month duration project. And in that 15 months are over. Still 3 more months are pending. Now your project is over budget. What sponsor is asking? In the remaining months, means in the 3 months, how much money you need to complete the project. In order to show this, what metrics you will show to the sponsor? That's what asked in the question. Let me read the option now. BAC, option A, budget at completion. See, budget at completion is more for the planning. Now you have to forecast, in the next 3 months, how much money you need. Yeah. So option A, it's not a good choice. It is gone. ETC, estimate to complete. This is an excellent choice. See, what sponsor is asking? How much money you need to complete the rest of the 3 months, to complete all the work planned in the rest of the 3 months. So you have to do ETC, estimate to complete. This means for completing this 3 months work, how much money I need. B is an excellent choice for me. Option C, estimate at completion. See, with estimate at completion, definitely you cannot forecast how much money you need to complete the remaining 3 months. This you can do only with ETC. So option C is also eliminated. Let me read option D, cost baseline. Again, we are in the execution stage. We have to do a forecasting. Cost baseline, it's more planning. So option D is also gone. For this question, my pick would be option B. Okay, let's move on to question number 7 now. During the resource assessment, you noticed one of the high performers is continuously giving poor performance, resulting in poor quality of work, which in turn is impacting the team's work. As a project manager, what should you do? So, what I understood from this particular question is, one of the high performers in my team is giving very poor performance. So, which is affecting the quality of my work, not my work, my project work, which in turn is impacting the team's work also. What was asked in the question, as a project manager, how will you handle this? Let me read the options now. Option A, meet with the team member and understand the gap in the skill sets and plan for the training. Very good choice. This person, means the high performer, is underperforming, maybe because of lack of skills and competencies. By doing option A, you're trying to provide training, you're trying to identify the gaps in the skill set. Very good choice. Option A is a very good choice for me. Let me read option B. Meet with the team member and understand why his performance has gone down and work on a solution with the team member. Option B is more good than option A. I will provide the reasoning for that. In option A, you are assuming yourself the reason why that person is not performing is lack of skills and competencies. Nowhere in the question it is stated this high performer is underperforming due to lack of skills and competencies. Option A is not a good one. Now in B, what you are doing is you are actually analyzing the root cause. Why that person performance has gone down, and then together with that person you are coming up with a solution. So B is better for me, A is gone. Let me read option C. Meet with the team member and explain the consequences of bad performances and how they will hit his appraisal. See, you should not do this, guys. When you're doing option C, you're kind of creating fear. No. Option C is gone. Let me read the last option, which is D. Request for a replacement of the team member. In the PMP exam, never ever pick an extreme step. Replacing a team member is definitely an extreme step you should not go for. D is gone. For this question, my pick would be option B. Okay, let's move on to question number 8. Question number 8 is a hybrid question. Even though I'm discussing, predictive, I have intentionally included hybrid question because hybrid is a combination of agile and predictive. But in this 15 questions, I will be discussing hybrid question focusing on predictive side. Yeah. So what do I mean by that? Let's read this question. You yourself will understand. You are a project manager of a hybrid project. The sponsor is very new to hybrid and agile ways of working. The sponsor is very concerned about the way agile embraces changes and wants to know how you are going to manage the change on the predictive side of the project. As a project manager, how will you control the changes in the predictive side? A tip. Whenever you are reading a hybrid question, as I said, hybrid is a combination of agile and predictive. So you should clearly understand that question is talking about agile part of the hybrid project or predictive part of the hybrid project. Now you read this question. This is very simple, right? This question is talking about the predictive side of the hybrid project. What was asked in the question? As a project manager, how you will control the changes in the predictive side. So automatically in the 4 options you have, you should select the predictive choices. Agile choices should be eliminated. Let's read the options now. Option A, create a proper configuration management plan and explain to the sponsor how the predictive project artifacts will be version controlled to control the change request. See, what was asked in the question? Question is asking how will you control the changes. In configuration management plan, you will have how you will manage project artifacts. It won't have how you will control changes. So option A, it's not a good choice for me. Let me read option B. Explain to the sponsor in the hybrid project, we cannot control the changes and we need to understand the fact the hybrid project embraces changes. See, this option B for me, it's not giving solution. You have to, you have to show how you're going to control the changes in the predictive side. Option B, it's completely irrelevant, not a good choice for me. Let me read option C. Explain to the project sponsor you have provided strict instructions to the stakeholders not to request changes. As the predictive part, we won't accept changes. See, in predictive part, we will resist changes. I accept to that. But you cannot restrict a stakeholder saying that, hey, don't give any changes. So option C doesn't sound fair for me. Let me read the last option, which is D. Create a robust change management plan and explain it to the sponsor. Excellent choice. Question is asking, how will you control the changes? All how will be written in a plan. So you have to create a change management plan. There you will have how you're going to control changes, which is you will have your change control process and show that to the sponsor. Considering option D, I'm kicking out the rest of the options A, B and C. For this question, my pick would be option D. Okay, let's move on to question 9. You are in the closure stage of the project. All the deliverables are accepted and signed off by the customer. You have conducted the final full team meeting and also finalized the project docs and lessons learned register. As a project manager, where you will archive the lessons learned register. Again, this question has a lot of garbage statement. What was asked in the question is very simple. As a project manager, where you will archive the lessons learned register. Let me read the options now. OPA, organization process asserts. Yeah, you can archive there. A, it's a good choice. Let me read option B. Provide it to the PMO team to archive it. No, it's your job to archive it. You cannot delegate this to other team. So B is gone, eliminated. Let me read option C. Knowledge management. So this is an excellent choice. All your project documents, apart from lessons learned register, should go to OPA, which is option A. But lessons learned register is little special. It will go to a different repository called knowledge management. So for this question, my pick would be option C. I'm eliminating A and B. Let me read option D also. PMIS, Project Management Information System. No, I'm not going to do that. So D is also gone. My pick would be option C. Okay, let's read question number 10. During the risk status update meeting, you found out one of the risks has increased its impact to a stage to make the project non-viable. As a PMP certified PM, you have decided to escalate the situation. As a PM, what should you do next? Okay, what I understood from this particular question is, I am in a risk meeting and I identified one of the risk impact got increased. And because of that, my entire project is non-viable. So you have decided to escalate it. What was asked in the question? How are you going to escalate it? Let me read the options. Option A, refer to the project management plan and escalate the issue. Of course, in project management plan, you would have written your escalation procedures. Option A is a very good choice. Follow the escalation procedures and do the escalation. Let me read option B. Call for an immediate meeting with the stakeholders and the sponsor to escalate the matter. See, in the predictive life cycle, you always have to stick to the plan. You have to follow the plan. Rather doing option B, in project management plan, I would have written the escalation procedures. I will follow that and then I will do the escalation. So B is gone. For me, A stands best. Let me read option C. Ask the sponsor how to escalate the issue. See, you don't want to do that because how to escalate the issue, you would have already documented in the project management plan. Just follow it. C is also eliminated. Let me read the last option, which is D, refer communication management plan. This is better than option A. I'll tell you the reason. Communication management plan will have the escalation procedures. Project management plan is a father. Communication management plan is a child. Always go for child plans whenever you are selecting options in the PMP exam. Option A is a good choice, but option D is more specific. So for this question, my pick would be option D. A is gone. Okay, we successfully completed 10 questions. We just have 5 pending. Guys, let's keep the same momentum and then let's keep going. Yeah, good. Let's move on to question 11. You are a project manager for a highly regulatory project. Recently identified stakeholder continuously bypasses you and get project information from the project sponsor directly. As a PM, how you would have avoided this situation? So what I understood from this particular question is, I am working as a project manager. Recently, I have identified a particular stakeholder is bypassing me and that person is getting project information directly from sponsor. So what was asked in the question, as a project manager, how I should have avoided this situation? Good. Let me read the options now. Option A, inform the stakeholders that he or she cannot meet the sponsor directly. Okay, you can do that, but what is the probability you have that the stakeholder will listen to you? So option A, it's a kind of okay choice for me, but not a great one. Let me read option B. Escalate the situation to the project sponsor. See, I personally feel the problem is at your side. When I say your side, it's at the project manager side. Project manager is not engaging that stakeholder properly. That is a reason that person is bypassing you and getting project information directly from sponsor. Escalation, it's not a good choice here. So let me read option C. B is not a good choice. Meet with the stakeholder to understand their needs and update the stakeholder engagement plan. This is what exactly I was talking about. The stakeholder is bypassing you. Talk to that stakeholder directly, understand what his or her needs, and come up with a right engagement strategy to engage the stakeholder. You engage so that that stakeholder won't bypass you. He will get all the project information from you. Option C, it's an excellent choice for me. Considering option C, I'm eliminating A and B. Let me read option D. Observe the situation and understand the needs of the stakeholder and update the communication management plan. Definitely you have to update the communication management plan, but I will first come up with an engagement strategy and then I will update stakeholder engagement plan. Only after that, I will start updating communication management plan and then I will communicate with the stakeholders. In the PMP exam, always pick an option that you will do first. First, I will do C and then I will do D. So option D is eliminated. For this question, my pick would be option C. Okay, now let's move on to Q12, which is question number 12. You are a project manager for a technically complex IT project. During the planning stage, while referring the previous similar projects, the technical architect confirmed there were regular outages registered than anticipated due to technical complexities and technical dependencies. As a project manager, what will be your next step? So, what I understood from the question is, I am in the planning stage of my project. While referring the previous similar projects, the technical architect confirmed that there were regular outages registered than anticipated, in the previous projects. So now what was asked in the question, as a PM, what will be your next step? Okay, let me read the options now. Option A, update the finding in the risk register and plan for appropriate risk response. This is a very good choice because, see, this is an issue in the previous project. It is not it happened on your project. So it's a future for your project. In future, this may happen. So this means this is a risk. As I already stated, whenever you are identifying a risk, the first step should be update that risk in the risk register. And that's what I'm doing in option A. Let me read option B. Update the lessons learned register based on a similar project reference. See, in lessons learned register, you will document the positive and negative experiences your project had. Kindly read the question. This outages, your project is not at having, your project is not yet having this problem. Only the previous project has it. You don't want to update your project lessons learned register. Option B is gone. Let me read option C. Update the issue log. I don't want to read this statement further. As I already stated, the problem is there or it's happened in the previous project. Only if the same problem happens in your project, it will become issue. So it's not a become issue. It's a risk. So option C is gone. Let me read the last option D. Plan for contingency reserve in the budget. Contingency reserve, you will plan for a risk you have accepted. Nowhere in the question it is stated that this particular risk you identified, you're going to accept it. So I'm not going to do option D. Nevertheless, when you're finding any risk, the first step should be updating in the risk register. So option D is also gone. For this question, my pick would be option A. Okay, here we go. We have completed 12 questions for reaching 15. The estimate to complete. We still have 3 more questions. Yeah, good. Let's see the 13th question now. In one of the steering committee meetings, a very important stakeholder raised a change request. You have documented the change and doing the initial analysis. As a PM, how can you identify which all artifacts needs a formal change request? Okay, see, for this question, honestly, I don't want to use elimination technique. What was asked in the question is, as a project manager, how will I identify what are all the documents needs a formal change request, not document artifacts. In configuration management plan, you will be creating configuration management plan in the planning phase. While you're creating configuration management plan, you will be mentioning configurable items. When I say configurable items, you will be mentioning certain documents and certain artifacts as a configurable items. On those artifacts, any changes happening in the execution phase, you must follow change control process. So this means when you're referring to the configuration management plan, you will get to know what are all the configurable items. On those items, if any changes, you have to follow change control process. For this question, my pick would be option C. Option C is saying refer to the configuration management plan. So my pick would be option C here. Rest of the options are eliminated, A, B and D. Okay, let's read the 14th question now. I'm excited because still 2 more questions are there. So let's get going. In the customer meeting, one of the important stakeholders raised his dissatisfaction with the way the project status was communicated. This has become a high escalation and sponsor has requested to take immediate action. As a PM, how will you resolve the issue? So what I understood from this particular question is, in a customer meeting, one of the stakeholders has raised a dissatisfaction saying that the way I am communicating the project status to that person, it's not so great. This has become a high escalation. My sponsor is asking me to take immediate action. This means my sponsor is asking me to solve this issue ASAP, means as soon as possible. What was asked in the question? As a PM, how will I solve the issue? Let me read the options now. Option A, inform the sponsor the communication has been sent as per the communication management plan and you are not responsible for it. See how this option is sounding like. It's like you're saying I have did according to the plan, I am not responsible for it. So here you're violating a PMI code of ethics called responsibility. A, it's a very bad choice for me. I don't want to keep A in the picture. I'm eliminating it. Let me read option B. Understand the stakeholder expectations and update the stakeholder engagement plan and communication management plan accordingly. This is an excellent choice because this stakeholder is saying the way you are communicating, I'm not liking it. So what you're doing, you're talking to that particular stakeholder and you're understanding which way that stakeholder needs information. And accordingly, you are updating the plans. After updating the plans, you will start communicating it accordingly. B is an excellent choice for me. Let me read option C. Add the new stakeholder to the stakeholder register and add the stakeholder expectations. See, whenever you are identifying new stakeholders, only then stakeholder register has to be updated. Nowhere in the question it is stated that this person is a new stakeholder. So option C is gone. Let me read the last option D. Ask the stakeholder to refer to the communication management plan and let you know if any changes are required. No. See, it's your job to engage the stakeholders. It's like you're saying that you check the communication management plan and let me know what information you need. Already this person is dissatisfied. On the top of that, by doing option D, you're kind of delegating this task to that stakeholder. No, this is not a proactive step. So D is gone. For this question, my pick would be option B. Yeah, finally we came to the last question, which is question number 15. Let's get going. You are the project manager of a highly regulated project. The project is in the planning stage. Your team has gathered the requirements and you have successfully defined the scope. How can you baseline the scope? Okay, this is more of a process related question. What was asked in the question? How I will baseline the scope? That's it. Let me read the options now. Option A, get sign off on the project scope statement. Yeah, by getting sign off on your project scope statement, you can baseline the scope. Let me read B, get sign off on the requirement documentation and project scope. No. Option B, it's not a good choice. For baselining scope, only requirement documentation and project scope, you won't get sign off. Yeah, so let me read option C. Get sign off on the project scope statement, WBS and WBS dictionary. This is an excellent choice. When you want to baseline your scope, according to the PMI process, you have to get sign off on the project scope statement, WBS, work breakdown structure, and WBS dictionary, which is work breakdown structure dictionary. Considering option C, I'm eliminating A and B. Let me read the last option, which is D. Get sign off on the requirement docs, project scope statement, and WBS. No. Option D is also eliminated. As I already stated, if you want to baseline your scope, you have to get sign off on the 3 documents that is mentioned in option C. And with this, we have completed the last question. Thank you so much for staying with me for a little long time. I hope you guys have enjoyed these 15 question test series. And most importantly, I would like to know how much percentage you scored. Please let me know in the comment section how many questions you did right and how many questions you did wrong. And also if you have any queries, do let me know. I will be responding to each and every comments. And if you have liked this video, just smash the like button. And also if you have any queries related to PMP and some general project management topics, please don't hesitate to write me an email. My email ID is gautham.sudakar@eduhubspot.com that you're seeing on the screen. Also, I will be giving my LinkedIn ID in the description of this particular video. Please be kind enough in sending the connection request. Let's stay connected and let's help our project management community. Thanks for watching this video again. I will be soon meeting you all in another great video. Until then, bye. Take care.